Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Happy Draft Day Eve, everybody.
Adam's never heard of Draft Day Eve.
That was a good block, by the way.
Draft Day Eve. What's next? What's next?
I had to pull that one on you.
That's fine. I'll take it. What's up, Terry? How are you? Missed you yesterday.
Well, I'm doing fine. I heard yesterday Maddy and I had a bonding experience, but didn't realize it.
We had a bonding experience?
Yes.
What was this?
What was our bonding experience?
We both experienced Taco Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't. I provided tacos for everybody and didn't get one.
Oh, damn.
That sucks.
Okay.
You had tweeted about it.
Look, we are under 36 hours from the NFL draft. This is
Exactly 36.
This is a very important time for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, a team not successful over recent years. They're going to have to get their act together. But before we get into any draft talk this morning, the Detroit Tigers, Terry, I wish there were words to describe that ending outside of it was a circus, it was a clown show.
Dude, that was Sandlot.
That was hilarious, though. I mean, honestly, objectively. Look, Tigers fans, I'm sure you're upset this morning. You can't look me in the face and tell me that wasn't funny as hell. It was. It sucked that you lost. It was funny as hell. Barnhart just sitting there running up towards third base. That completely airmails it.
You know what that looked like? And I'm sure they didn't do it, but that looks like point shaving. That's what it looked like to me. I know they wouldn't do it, and I'm not accusing anybody. That's what it looked like. It's like,
wow,
let me make this very simple play and just throw the ball. No, he airmailed the ball into the outfield. It made no sense. It looked stupid. It was like something you would see on the sandlots and on any random field.
It was embarrassing. I was happy, though. Unfortunately, I was one of those people that bet the over last night at 7 runs. It was at 7 already, so if the Tigers would have won the game, I would have been happy. It would have pushed. I would have been fine. Still made my money back.
But now you're ecstatic.
But now I got some money. Made some nice cash last night, Terry.
Well, good for you. You should have bought some tacos for Maddy.
By the way, we need to talk about this real quick. No longer will I appear on any show, especially the Woodward Bets show, without a massive appearance fee. They can see my agent. 5 for 5 on the bets yesterday. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I came out of retirement yesterday. They needed some help. All right, I came out of retirement. I haven't bet since Matthew Stafford.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie.
I haven't significantly bet.
All right, can
since
I say,
Matthew
you know what the
already.
problem with people like this? On days when he's 5 for 5, he's thumping his chest out. Hey, I was 5 for 5. You should follow me. But then when he goes 1 for 5, which happens, so how'd you do yesterday? Oh, you can't
I was
understand.
going to say, Adam is actually a
talk.
very, very, very good bettor.
I've never
Yeah,
gone
he
1
is
for
pretty
5
good.
in my life on my
You
mother.
never
Here.
admitted to going
I
1
am
for
going to
5.
open up this account right now.
Oh, boy.
And we're going to go over the last time I bet before
You
yesterday.
need to show us the screen. You can't cheat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me turn off the Wi-Fi because apparently we get no freaking Wi-Fi in here. Come on.
We get Wi-Fi. They just don't want us to bet.
That's a very good point.
Shouldn't bet in the morning.
All right, here, Terry. I'll just show you first. Here. This is last night, by the way.
Okay. Very impressive.
Very impressive. It gets way better. It gets way better.
So it gets
But
better
the
than
point
5
is-
for 5.
The point is, yesterday I went 5 for 5 on the bet show. I haven't bet often since the football season ended. I think I've bet on maybe a few games. And that's about it. Like maybe 5-6 times. A handful. Like I haven't been active. You guys know me. During football season, I bet religiously.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday I go on the bet show. I deliver 5 for 5. I will no longer ever make an appearance again. You are not allowed to have my bets unless they pay me significantly over at the Woodward Bet Show. Unacceptable. I go in there and I make them look like fools.
If you make them look like fools, why would they want you back on there? The hell with you.
Oh man, it was awesome. It was
Well,
awesome.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
But, if you got a gambling problem, be careful.
Thank you, Terry.
You know what? Gambling problems are for the losers, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't have a gambling problem
If
when
you're
you're
winning.
hitting.
That's
Right.
what I'm saying. Like, everybody looks
You
at
have a problem,
me.
you have to admit you have a problem.
No, look, you and Fish keep telling me I have a problem. I do not.
I have
do
not
have a
said
problem.
anything.
You brought it up during football season. All right, let's not hide
well,
from the
that
fact.
got a little.
It's not a problem
Yes,
when you're
it
winning
is.
all the time. All right.
Yes, because you keep putting the amount of money you win.
No, it's only a problem when you say every day, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to bet on the games today. I don't need to do
It's
that."
only
I
a
don't need to
problem
do
when
that."
you lose.
Yeah,
So, to all you losers, suck it.
I don't want to.
I'm not like
In
you.
2030, I don't want to see Adham on the street with a homeless sign.
No, he's
saying,
right
"I need
about
help."
that. You
What
don't
are you
have
saying,
a gambling
Fish?
I
would
would
take
problem.
him
never.
in?
I would never be homeless because of betting. First of all, I would
First
never
of all,
allow
you
myself
have,
to get to
you
that
have
point.
Matthew Stafford money.
Second
so-
of all, I would do whatever it takes not to be homeless.
Okay.
And if that means I got to post up on a corner and sell my body, damn it, I'm gonna do it.
you can have my ring light for your OnlyFans.
Terry, if I was a girl, I'd be a massive whore.
Really?
Sell everything.
Okay.
Everything's for sale. Anyways,
Including the body.
we're supposed to be talking about.
We just call you a whole bitch.
God. Oh my God, man. Struggling this morning. Look,
Yeah,
the
that
Tigers
is a
lost.
hoe.
It was pretty embarrassing. I think we went over the play already. Javier Baez, though, accounted for all 4 RBIs and all 4 runs last night for the Detroit Tigers. The pitching looked good. Bullpen was strong. Rodriguez had a good outing. And they gave it away. They gave it away, Terry. They're 6-10
gave
now.
it away twice on one play. Because you can make an argument that the fly ball should have been caught. And then they get it in. And then you're like 4 feet
Well,
away.
they wouldn't have tied the game, even with the error. Mm-hmm. The runner would not have scored. The score. The problem was the throw that came to the catcher was, again, it was appropriate. It was fine. It was still 4-3, second and third. But the guy at second decided to run halfway
Right.
over to third. Barnard runs out, and the rest is
Well, Barnhart didn't realize. He thought the plate was uncovered, but home plate was covered. He had somebody back there, so he says that's why he threw the ball.
Yeah,
But in a situation like that, you just go up there and you tag the 2 runners. At least tag one of them.
the decision should have been, you know what? We're going to let this guy walk back to second because I'm not going to force it. We're going to walk the next guy and get a force out at home. That's what the
You could have gotten out, though. You should have gotten it out.
should have gotten the guy
And
out.
he was
at
talking
second.
about there was mud on the ball.
Yeah,
And
whatever.
it was cold, and the temperature
Whatever.
went down 10 degrees in one inning, and they turned into the bad news Bears. It was but the Tigers have had 2 stupid plays this season that could have cost them games. It was I think it was against the Yankees, that pop up at home plate that they didn't catch, and now this one. It's pretty shaky and suspicious.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Tigers. I apologize, by the way. It was Eric Haas. Excuse me. It was Eric Haas, not Tucker Barnhart. By the way, why was he brought into the game? I don't recall. Because Barnhart was catching the whole game. And I don't remember why he was brought in. It's weird. Was it a defensive
I don't either.
substitution?
Now, you
I
don't
don't know.
do a defensive substitution for Barnhart. He's supposedly one of the best defensive catchers in Major League Baseball.
I don't know. Oh, well. Tigers really blew
I
it
wasn't
last
watching
night.
that close. I was on the NHL and NBA playoff beat last night.
Speaking of which, this thing keeps falling out. It's starting to aggravate me. Speaking of which, Maddy, John Morant, big time play last night.
Huge.
Memphis goes up 3-2. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To all of you that listen to me, congratulations on the under at 231.5. To all of you that listen to me about Atlanta, Miami under 217, congratulations. To all of you that listen to me about Phoenix covering 6.5 points, congratulations. And to all of you that didn't, you can go. You can
So
continue
instead
to
of
lose.
playing the stock market, we need to play the Adham market.
Absolutely.
No, quite literally.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Adam would be like, Maddie, bet your entire life on this, and I'd probably say, yeah, you're right.
Hold on, because when you do bets for other people, you F up.
Right.
I can't hit every time. And they're parlays typically.
But you make the same bets that you give to other people,
Yeah, of course, I
and
give
they
people
fail,
my
but
bets.
you win because you change them last minute.
See, the difference between my bets and people's bets are people are stupid and impatient.
No, but you take their phone and
I'll
compute
give
the
them a
bets
bet,
in.
yes.
But then you change yours last minute and say, haha, you lose.
No, that is not true at all, by the
Ask
way.
Westfall, ask Maddy,
Westfall
ask
is a
everyone.
bitch. Westfall is a bitch who
Whoa.
complains.
Westfall
All right.
literally has said nothing all morning, and now you're just going to call him
He's
a bitch?
sitting there flicking me off. Unacceptable.
I got you, Alex.
Listen, all right? The difference is I make very, very high bets on individual games, not just parlays, because, Terry, all these stupid people, what they do is they try to make all the money in one go instead of putting $50, $100 on multiple games.
Sure.
And when you make and you hit 6 out of 8 games, you win money. If you get 6 out of 8 in a parlay, you win 0.
Then why don't you do that for me?
You never
There you
asked
go.
me. Hey, Adam, this is literally what you tell me during
you hear
football
that?
season. Hey, Adam,
How
can you put
didn't do
together a
that for
parlay
me?
for
That
me?
was whiny.
I did not say
Adam,
that.
can you put together a
You literally
parlay?
had my phone.
There we go.
You say, Adam, what are today's bets? Parlay them for me, and then I'll take your phone and
I
I'll do
never
it for
said
you.
parlay them.
I'm gonna kill you, Alex. Lying
Do
on
it.
national television.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Dang,
I
Alex
am
man
dying.
turned into a little worm boy. He said, "How come you didn't do that for me?"
Unbelievable.
That's just his voice.
Austin
No,
Matthews,
no,
Austin
not like
Matthews
that.
last night against the Wings got his 60th goal.
He did. Congratulations.
Unbelievable.
Go Canada.
Unbelievable. So it's a jam-packed show. We got Zion Williamson talk. We got the Kayvon Thibodeau. Terry is the unprofessional. Lots of misinformation. We'll get to that a little later. Dose of Dion at 9 o'clock. MicroMike at 9:30. Should the Detroit Lions pursue Deebo Samuel, and what do we make of the fifth-year option? I think we all expected it for TJ Hawkinson, but we'll get to that after the break. But before we do, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness, home of the Judgment-Free Zone. Again, Planet Fitness, the official studio sponsor of the Woodward Sports Network. Check them out at planetfitness.com or one of their many Metro Detroit locations. I was there last night at 2 in the morning getting my workout on. I am exhausted. I am fried, but damn it, it was worth it. Take your mental and physical health seriously this year with Planet Fitness.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope, a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other diehard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adham, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddy, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for Draft Day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Syntron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. There's just one more day until the draft, but we have to talk about some basketball. So, I talked about this with the heavyweights. I don't know if you saw my episode, but should the Detroit Pistons pursue Zion Williamson?
Terry, floor's yours.
Hell no. I have a Zion Williamson story before he was drafted. Zion Williamson, to me, is very overrated. He's fat. He's going to have bad knees. But, I just think because he played at Duke and because he was so explosive there, that some guys get this name before you know if they can play. And Zion Williamson is one of those guys. I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for him. I wouldn't give up Sadiq Bey. Switching first-round picks for him. He's not worth all that. Zion Williamson does explosive stuff, yes. But does he do stuff that's going to help you win? My answer is no. I'd rather go without him. And I know people in Detroit have received criticism from some of the national geeks who said, how can you not want Zion Williamson? Well, I tell you what, the dude is injured all the time. And as he gets older, he's going to get injured even more. I'm just not impressed with him. In fact, before he was drafted, I have a scout friend from Utah Jazz who I call Brother Walt. And I said, if I were GM, I would draft Ja Morant instead of Williamson. And he told me, no, you wouldn't. He said, you would be fired because the reason teams want Zion is because of his name and because he's going to bring in more fans. People know who he is. He played at Duke. Your owner would fire you and you would not be able to make that move. And to me, I was like, that's not a reason to draft a guy because he's popular. And I think that's what Zion Williamson falls under that. I'd rather have Ja Morant then. I'd rather have him today. So coming to the Pistons, hell no.
Yeah, I have some basic check-the-box standards in the NBA when I look for a player, especially a young one, right? They're still developing. You got to figure out what their game looks like, Terry. Fat. I definitely don't want them to be fat. I don't want
How
their
about plump?
Fat.
All right.
I don't want their diet to consist of Mountain Dew and fried chicken all day.
Good combo.
And I don't want my star player playing Fortnite till 3 in the morning every single night. So a big hell no to Zion Williamson. I think it's a ridiculous. I haven't seen something this dumb be ethered into the atmosphere since Detroit wanted Ben Simmons. Hell, we
Stay the hell out.
we can go back
Get
a
him
few
away.
years when Detroit. All those Pistons fans, Terry, I know you remember them very clearly. We're getting the number 8 seed with Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson. We're so close. Why would we break it up? Unbelievable. It's like stupid people that just say things like this that blow my mind. Look, is Zion Williamson explosive? Hell yeah, he is. Is he a ticket draw? Hell yeah, he is.
Right.
He's fat. He'll be in a wheelchair by the time he's 35. Again, I don't know what's going on, right? We don't know what's going on in his head, family situation. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. Not my problem. What I know is he hasn't been available for over a year, Terry. What I know is when he walks around, he makes a polar bear look like it's in shape. Right. Dude is a walking fat chunk of fat.
I was going to say a lard.
He makes Matt Patricia look skinny.
That's, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Now. Wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're going there. See, Matt Patricia is shorter, so the fat expands. Zion, he's so tall, it's well balanced, but he is all fat. Believe me, he took off his clothes, you'd be scared. I promise you.
He's got that high fat.
Yep.
This up here.
It's like this. His fat doesn't expand. What it does is it
right.
It vertically stretches.
The Matt Patricia fat is just sitting there real low. It's like
it's rolls.
I'm too tired.
We call it rolls
to go up. Yeah, jelly rolls, man.
Zion is a bona fide heavyweight. That's why Zion is a bona fide bust right now, because he's a heavyweight.
And you know what? I think the other word that we don't use, he's one of those guys that I think it feels entitled. It's like, I can be fat because I'm Zion. So I'm not going to do the extra work it takes to be an NBA professional because I'm already great. And you're not great. You're not great if you can't play. You're not great if being out of shape is going to hurt you. And but he doesn't think it's his stuff.
Zion
stinks.
weighs more than Easy and Spencer. Let's put that into perspective.
Combined?
100%. Dude's walking around 420 pounds easily. He is a 400-pound, cake-eating, fat-eating. Hell, he eats fat, literally. That's his breakfast, fat. He just eats straight fat. That's his diet right now. I am so disappointed in him.
He doesn't eat bacon. He does the pork belly.
That's what I'm saying.
But but he's got this reputation that he's all this in the bag of
He's
chips.
a highlight reel. He is. He's not all that in
According
the
to
bag.
NBA.com, he's 284 pounds.
Yeah, and my aunt has a dick. Yeah, okay, 284 pounds.
I'm just telling you. I said according to NBA.com. That
that
doesn't
is-
mean it's true.
No, it's not. That's what they want him to
How
weigh.
many players add a couple extra
They
inches
want
on
him.
NBA.com?
They want him to weigh. As of December 8th, 2021, he was approaching 350 pounds. If Aaron Donald can stay in shape, so can you, Zion. This is not hard. You are paid millions of dollars. If you don't have a professional chef, a professional diet program going on, what the hell are you doing? Look, maybe he has an eating disorder, Terry. I don't know.
Maybe. You know what's going to happen? We're going to read a story in 3 years where he's going to say, you know what, I'm serious about playing in the NBA. I just hired myself a chef. I hired a personal trainer. And then those people are going to get in trouble because they're going to want to show up at the facility, and then teams are going to get upset with him. But he's going to, at some point, probably when he's 27 years old, say, you know what, I'm tired of being fat. I want to be a better professional. He's not a professional.
He's not a professional at all. He's still a 14-year-old boy trapped in a 22, 23-year-old body with 400 extra pounds on him. Hey, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. lost some pounds, and look at him now. That is totally different. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. doesn't need to run up and down the court for 40 minutes a night, 82 games a year. Vlad Guerrero needs to go up and bat every 8 hitters and play in the field. Very different
Playing in
sport.
the field requires running, though. Especially if he's
baseball
playing
is so
150
different. No.
games.
Yeah, but you're not going up and down, and down, up and down. And you're not racing somebody down the court so they don't get do a layup
And you
on
can be out of shape in baseball and still produce. In basketball,
on
you
what
can't because
position.
you will get injured. You will. Your knees will give out. You can't be carrying all that fat.
How about Cecil and Prince Fielder? Both of them were fat.
Prince was mega fat, though.
Yeah, he's a first baseman.
He was disgusting fat, and he was a vegan, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a vegan.
He claimed to be a vegan.
Yeah,
I want to
that
know
was-
what vegan stuff he was on because he was eating pork belly vegan something. I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
you can
no,
be,
you can
you
eat
can
fries
be
every
vegan
day.
and still just continue to frickin' eat.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You just
How
can't.
is Prince
You just
Fielder
can't
today? Is he
fry it
alive?
in animal fat. So that's
Yeah,
vegan.
I would assume he's
I'm
alive.
ashamed to say that I do have a Prince Fielder jersey that sits in the back of my closet.
No, don't be ashamed. Again, it was a great trade when it happened. The guy was a 35, 40 home run a year guy.
It's actually a dope jersey, too.
It just didn't work out.
I'll never wear it, though.
Look, it just didn't work out. You ended up with what, Ian Kinsler?
Well, you know what it was. It's all about the kids. You know, we used to start, and when he was criticized, he would say, "Well, you know, what about the kids? My kids hear this, and if you perform, you don't get criticized. That's part of being an athlete. When you don't perform, you get criticized." But
Yeah, look, being fat is not going to serve you in most aspects of life unless you are a quote-unquote, you ready for this, Terry? A model, and you're posing for the XL cover of Victoria's Secret.
But even they are not that big.
They are that big.
No,
you know how much Photoshop goes in? Terry,
thick
Terry, they're
girls.
fat. They're not thick. They're fat and they have diabetes. They're not healthy. It's disgusting that we promote it. No, it's stupid. Unacceptable. They're fat. They're out of shape. And we're promoting it like, oh my God, I want to look like her.
No. They say, "Oh, isn't she beautiful?" And
I
she's
can't
like,
wait to die at 52.
We're gonna stop talking about females, and
No.
I'm gonna go.
No,
over-
we're gonna go. We're gonna dive
No,
into
just you
females.
wait 1 second, just to put this in perspective. Allegedly, Zion and Aaron Donald weigh the same.
Yeah, and Aaron Donald
One
has
is
a
a brick
six-pack.
house. Exactly.
One has a six-pack.
One is a
the other
brick
wakes
house.
up and eats donuts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, I love donuts. Krispy Kreme donuts.
I love donuts too. I don't eat them every single day. Zion, stop being a fat ass, man. People want to see you on the court. Stop eating. Put your finger down your throat. I don't care what you need to do. Figure it out. Jesus
that's
Christ.
not good for you.
I know.
Nothing like promoting bulimia on a
Right.
Wednesday morning.
My bad. Oh well. Shouldn't take everything I say seriously.
I don't.
Most people don't.
No, but seriously, we got to stop this promoting 400-pound chicks on a cover of a magazine.
You
It's
realize,
ridiculous.
yeah, but you realize they're gonna keep doing it because it's all about equality.
That's not equality. That's, oh, you're dying sooner than I am. Congratulations. We'll put you on a magazine. Unhealthy mother effers.
Well, the reason they have the big girls on some of those photo
Big girls.
shoots
Just
is
call them
because-
fat. I am tired of this. Thick. I'm thick.
Some of them are thick. They're not fat.
The thick ones are thick in the right way. I'm talking about the ones that look like a hungry hippo walking down Woodward. All right, Terry?
hippos.
We're looking for a thick in the ass, not in the belly.
Thank you. Or the face. Or the arms. Jesus Christ.
Now you have to understand, I live in a household with a daughter. She says we should never talk about anybody's physique.
Why?
Whether it's good or bad.
Have her call in. I want to know why. Why? It's not my business. But you make it my business when you make it public.
I don't know. I was called Fatty Maddy my whole life, so I got
If
nothing.
you're fat, these people are beyond fat. They are a whole new species. But anyways, we're going to move on from fat people. Terry, you brought this up a little earlier. I want to say a few weeks ago about Kayvon Thibodeau. You said there was a lot of smoke. A lot is being made of nothing in regards to his character.
Right.
And how the guy that was number one on everybody's board suddenly is falling. It doesn't add up.
Because of quote-unquote
Yep, character
issues.
issues. Well, Kayvon Thibodeau did an interview on the NFL Network yesterday and said there's quote-unquote a lot of misinformation in the pre-draft process. So we're going to get to that. But before we do, I got to tell you about Gypsy Vodka. Now, if you're Zion Williamson, you're probably going to need a ton of this because you'll be out of the league pretty soon. Check out Gypsy Vodka, of course, on their social medias at gypsyvodka.com. They are gluten-free, Zion, so you should definitely check them out. They're Michigan's vodka, locally owned and operated up in Petoskey, Michigan. As always, do drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
We all know Cade should have been Rookie of the Year. But you know the saying, Detroit versus everybody.
Uh-oh, Cunningham all by himself.
Woodward Sports.
Well, guys, it was snowing on my way into the office this morning, so that means I'm not getting a tan outside, but I will be getting a tan inside at Chili Peppers Tanning. That's where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals on unlimited tanning. They'll even beat your competitors by $5. Chili Peppers, they've got the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. 8:30 in the morning here. Morning Woodward show. What is today? Wednesday?
No. Hump day.
Yep, hump day, as you guys would say. Tomorrow is the draft. And speaking of the draft, Kayvon Thibodeau. This is a guy that's been falling off the board. Now Trayvon Walker's projected to go number 1 overall. So let's first address his quote-unquote character issues, Terry. One, are there any? Two, if you watched the interview with Kayvon Thibodeau on the NFL Network, that is an educated young man. That is a man who's well-spoken, who basically, without a press run, did a damn good job of selling me on any quote-unquote character flaws or concerns that, you'll have when all these reports come out. So, Terry, I'll ask you this. How much of the pre-draft process is teams sabotaging players to lower their stock?
It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions were doing stuff like this, but it's Kayvon Thibodeau. Never met him or anything, but he seems to be, he's the guy that sports fans don't like from this standpoint. He thinks on his own. He's got his own views. He's not one of these guys that's always talking about, oh, I got to do what coach says. No, he's his own man, and I'm fine with that. In fact, I like that. Now, he talks about his life after football, and that scares people. But if you got to know some of the better athletes, that's what they talk about now. They don't want to be viewed just as athletes. They do think about the future, which the rest of us do, so why can't an athlete? It doesn't mean he's going to check out on the Lions. Now, let me say this. Now, you had another guy who was very well spoken who came here and was Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh had this other side of him. He let it be known he didn't really want to be here even after he got drafted. So if Thibodeau's talking about, I don't want to be a Lion, and he's throwing out, then the red flags should go up. Other than that, there is nothing that he's done that scares me off from him. The dude can play. I think sports fans need to wake up that today's athletes are different than the ones back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s where, they thought team, 365 days a year. I want a guy that has a diverse thought. I want a guy that's going to think about his future. That doesn't scare me. I don't know this for a fact, but a lot of the things that come out about Thibodeau, I'm like, who's floating this out? I think it is misinformation. I think this guy is solid. He will be a team player. And like the whole thing we heard about, he's not a Dan Campbell guy.
What does that even mean?
Do we even know that? Because
what does that mean?
It means he's not a rah-rah guy that's going to go Lions, go Lions, go Lions all the time. But first of all, we don't know if that report is true. Now, being in the business, when you read the actual words, what was a Sports Illustrated came out with a story that said that Thibodeau is not a Dan Campbell guy. But when you read the words, what it said is, I'm hearing, first of all, you're hearing. That means you haven't heard from Dan Campbell. That means you haven't heard from Thibodeau. That means you haven't necessarily heard from anybody close to Thibodeau or Dan Campbell. It's like what you heard is people are talking. And when they talk, a lot of times they talk, and particularly in today's society, without information. We are in the hottest time of misinformation ever. And so when I read that report, I'm like, this dude didn't get this from anybody, may not have gotten it from somebody within the Lions organization. He just heard talk.
Before social media, what GMs used to do is they used to plant phone calls, right? So they would communicate with each other and say, yeah, so-and-so GM called me and we're looking to make a move here and here, and they would give false information. Why? Or they would say, hey, what do you think of this player? Someone we're considering over at 7, 8, 9. Be like, yeah, this isn't someone, we're a fan of. We're drafting before you guys. We're definitely not taking him. And then they end up taking him.
Right.
Because you just don't want everyone to reveal your cards. I think social media has just elevated it. But at the end of the day, this guy's a top 3 prospect in this draft class. Where I'm going to go with this is if he's on the board and Aiden Hutchinson is on the board. I find this to be a very difficult pick. You're going to be happy either way. You're getting a very good football player either way. Which player are you going for? Kayvon Thibodeau, who looks to have a higher ceiling, even though I hate this conversation about a player's ceiling, Terry, because it matters so much. Does it? Does ceiling matter when a guy like TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Aaron Donald at 13? Like,
we don't know.
Nobody knows. You can think you know. You can say that I know this guy will work out in the NFL, or he won't, or that he has a higher ceiling. But that's all relative. It's irrelevant.
Here's how we determine higher ceiling. If a guy started football late, or then we say he has a higher ceiling because he hasn't played that much.
Yep.
But we don't know that. As opposed to a guy that started playing football at 3 years old and has played every year, and then we say his ceiling isn't that high. It's a flawed logic, but it's one we use all the time, and that's why you pass on Aaron Donald. That's why you draft Eric Ebron higher than you should, because we have these thoughts and beliefs that are not necessarily scientific. They don't apply.
Well, I don't think there's a one equation fits all when it comes to analyzing a football player and what they can be, what they will be. There's so many factors you really just don't even control. But with Kayvon Thibodeau, we see this every year. There's always one player, Terry. People love him. They love him during the season. And the minute the season ends, they get tired of him. And it's, you know what, well, he's got character issues. Well, you know what, he didn't run that hard. You know what, I watched back the tape, took a few plays off. Like, what are we doing here? Is he a good football player or not? If he is, great. If he isn't, great. I just solved it all for you.
You know who used to take a few plays off? Randy Moss. He was notorious, but Hall of Famer. A guy that should have been here in Detroit, but Detroit was so afraid of his quote-unquote character issues that they decided to draft a guy, Terry Fair, who ended his career because he did something that was a character issue moment. He had a character issue moment.
A lot of people throw out the Bosa brothers when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson. Let me just put two things into perspective here this morning. One, there's not a single pass rusher coming out this year that remotely compares to Joey Bosa coming out of college. He was double-digit sacks all 3 years. He was a phenom. Second, Nick Bosa had one good year, his second year in college. His third year, he was injured. Whatever, didn't play the full season at Ohio State. Aiden Hutchinson takes off his third year. All right. I don't want to hear Joey Bosa when it comes to Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, any of these guys. What you're getting is a draft class, Terry, full of good pass rushers, which a handful likely will be very good. Your job as a GM is to find the very good ones, not just the good ones. And we want to talk about, again, ceiling, right? Well, Terry, Boye Mafe, and some of the guys later in the draft, they have just as high, if not a higher ceiling than Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. Really? Yeah. I love those people.
You know why Aiden Hutchinson is compared to the Bosa brothers?
Yeah, Big Ten?
Because he's white.
Oh, well, there you go.
You don't hear him compared to a black edge rusher. You don't hear Thibodeau compared to a white edge rusher. So I think they look here. Here's a white guy.
J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, the Bosa brothers.
He's crazy. So
Jared Allen.
Right. Let's think of every white guy we can and compare him to him. That's what happens. And I think a lot of the talent evaluators really don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but if you pull up Aiden Hutchinson's measurables alongside Kayvon Thibodeau, we talk about Thibodeau as such a freak athlete. Aiden Hutchinson is no slouch. This guy is every bit of 6'7", 260-plus pounds. Very finesse in the cone drills. Has good agility. Is his 40 time as good as Kayvon Thibodeau's? No, it isn't. Wow. I don't need my edge rusher running 40 yards as fast as possible. I need him getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible, and that's typically 3, 4, 5, 6 yards.
And you need him to be able to think the game. I'm going to go back to a Detroit lineman, Luther Ellis. Luther Ellis was an edge rusher. Wasn't great, but he could get to the quarterback. What Luther used to do, he would haul ass to get to the quarterback, and teams would run draws right at him, and they go right by him. So in other words, you not only have to be fast, but you have to think the game. After the teams have done this to you over and over and over again, maybe you shouldn't be as quick to the quarterback, and maybe you need to watch for that draw play now and then. So you need a guy that can adjust and be smart on the field too. It's not just getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible. You have to think your way there, whether you use a different move, a spin move, or bull rush, or whatever, however you get there. You have to think your way through the game. So the mental part is not talked about with edge rushers. When we talk about edge rushers, we just look at guys, set their pants on fire and just go at them. And which you want them to do, but they have to do other things.
Sniff out the screenplays. Stop the run on occasion. Drop back into coverage. It's a whole... Terry, I'm going to be patient. Tomorrow's the draft. Don't have to deal with this anymore, but again...
Critical question for you.
Yeah.
Adam, you are now the GM of the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau are available to you at number 2. Who are you picking?
That's a great question. I'm gonna
stump the young man.
It's a great question because I think both are phenomenal. I'm gonna go with Aiden Hutchinson. I'm gonna go with the kid that I believe my scouting department has as the best player on the board overall, before Jacksonville ever picked. And this is a guy that I expect Jacksonville to take. I think they're making a big mistake by taking Trayvon Walker and passing on Aiden Hutchinson. And if they do, great for Detroit. We talk about ceiling. I don't need Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau to get me 20 sacks a year. You know what I need them to do?
Tell me.
Double-digit sacks would be nice, yes. I need them to put pressure on the quarterback because pressures are a very underrated statistic. Because applying quarterback pressure disrupts the offense. Yes, you can get to the quarterback. It's a sexy stat. Everybody loves sacks. Great. Put pressure on the quarterback. Be able to sniff out screenplays. Stop the run occasionally. That's the guy I want. And I think Aiden Hutchinson would be a very good fit here in Detroit.
Right.
So I'm taking Aiden Hutchinson. Tough for me to pass on him.
He's local. I think he also probably understands better the frustration of between fans and the Lions, and he may come in with that little bit of edge. But the other thing, Thibodeau is a guy that might just be playing pissed off because he's heard all this stuff about him, about character issues and stuff. So he might be a guy that's like,
I bet he's laughing right now that Trayvon Walker is projected to go higher than him. And that's enough fuel for him. And again, if Aiden Hutchinson goes 1, I am happy because I end up with Kayvon Thibodeau. I think those are the 2 best players in this draft class. Then Sauce Gardner, and I would say it doesn't matter who the 4th best player is.
But even if Sauce was great, let's say Sauce was the greatest player, you wouldn't take him. Not at 2?
No.
Hell no.
No, I don't need a corner at 2. And again, that's not my team. I don't have the luxury of taking a corner at 2. Does that make sense to everybody? Perfect. I don't have the luxury as the Detroit Lions. The Denver Broncos took Patrick Surtain at 9 last year. He literally shut down an entire side of the field. Denver still struggled to win games. Was he important? Would you love to have him on your team? Absolutely. But I have Jeff Okudah coming into a prove-it year. I have a secondary that actually held their own last year, outside of a few games where they absolutely got lit up. I'm not rushing the process, Terry. I'm thinking of how do I want to build a football team? In the trenches, with a quarterback, give me a good GM and head coach, I can figure out the rest. My trenches on the offensive side, figured out. I'm not getting any pass rush. I'm not stopping the run right now. And I need to stop the run and get a pass rush to protect my secondary players. Let me address that need first.
Okay. Walker might be taken number one because he's more quote-unquote versatile, which is what Jacksonville needs. The Lions don't need a versatile guy. They need a guy that has a specialty, and that's attacking the quarterback, and let him go at it. If he's subpar on the run, I can live with that. But like I've said before, make things uneasy for Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
And you can mess up offenses.
Absolutely, 100%. Today's football, and it's really not even today's, it's always been true. The best way to stop a quarterback, the Giants, ask them, they've won 2 Super Bowls because of it. Get to the quarterback. The Eagles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Yes, the offense was very good that game, but Brandon Graham got to Tom Brady down the stretch. Get to the quarterback. Aaron Donald getting to Joe Burrow, stopping Jamar Chase from scoring a 60-yard touchdown because he had burned Jalen Ramsey on the edge. Let's not overthink this. Maddy, could you tell everybody at home about the sports marketing agency?
Yes, I can. Our friends at SMA help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word series, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com if you're struggling or know someone who is, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
I know it's only Wednesday, but it's never too early to start thinking about what you're going to do this weekend. There's no better place to go than the Fulling Warehouse. The Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. They've got 2 ways to play. They have $10 unlimited open play, or you can reserve a private lane for $120. Don't forget, they have a special $2 mystery beer machine along with multiple full bars. Check it out today at thefullingwarehouse.com.
All right. You know what? We talked about it a little earlier in the show. TJ Hawkinson, 5th-year option extended, Terry. I've had an issue with TJ Hawkinson now, I want to say 5-6 months running. I wasn't a fan of him early on in the year when he got hurt again. This is a guy that struggled to stay healthy. Yes, I understand concussions. You can never really tell what's going on. It's a sensitive subject. But at the end of the day, this is the 8th overall pick from a few years ago. He's going into his 4th year. They're extending him. He has not produced at an ideal level. And if you compare his first 3 seasons alongside Eric Ebron, they each played 40 games. Hawkinson slightly has more yards. He has 5 more touchdowns over the 3 seasons. And Ebron has a higher catch percentage. Isn't that funny?
That's hard to believe.
I know, right? I was shocked when I saw it. But anyways, the point is, this is a guy this year that has to, Terry, prove it. And my question to you is, even if he proves it, are you going to sign him to a big contract similar to Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle? I promise you right now, the Niners are very frustrated with George Kittle. They're paying him a ton of money, and he's usually never available. Great player. You can be a great player and still be a pain in the ass to have on the team. And my question for all of you with TJ Hawkinson is, you're extending him for the 5th-year option. I'm going to put it out there right now. I am definitely in the market of trading, or at least I am considering trading TJ Hawkinson before his contract expires here in Detroit, because I find it hard to believe I'm going to accept paying him or extending him on a 5-year, $60 to $65, $70 million deal. I don't see it.
And the Lions might be thinking that. Now, the Hawkinson signing is another example that the Lions are different. The old Lions would say, hey, we can't let this guy out the showroom. We got to keep him here. He's our guy. We drafted him 8th. So they would have signed him to already a 5-year, $60-something million deal. With the Lions, now are saying, we're not doing that. Show us. Prove that you belong here. And they may not give him that opportunity. I think they would trade him under the right circumstances and with the right players. So to me, this is should be a celebration that is not the same old stupid Lions that just would throw money at bad players or mediocre players or players who haven't proven themselves. It seems like half this roster is on a show me contract. And TJ Hawkinson is one of those guys. I do. If we still want you after 2 years and you're still here, we might give you that. But they're pushing it down the road a little bit. And then, so that gives them time to think, what do we really want to do with this guy?
And again, even if he has a good season, let's say I told you 80 catches, 1,200 yards, 7-8 touchdowns. You're looking at the first 4 years of his career and saying, well, he missed a lot of games. He's injury prone. And I am willing to put a lot of money that he doesn't play all 17 games this year. Not because I don't want him to, because that's his track record. And if he gives me 14, 15 games this year, I'm still going to be concerned. Now, would I be open, Terry, to extending him on a 3-year deal? Okay. I'm willing to entertain that. But I'm not pulling out a 5-6-year extension. That is beyond ridiculous. I'm not even considering it. I would trade TJ Hawkinson before I'd ever offer him a long-term extension deal. Again, even if he produces this year. And you know what? Let's jump into the 5th year, Terry. Let's say he produces this year and next year, and he stayed healthy, and he's given you 2 years of proven production. You still offering him a 4-year deal? At the right price, maybe. But I would still struggle, again, to pay a guy that has shown a history of being injured.
You know, but then you created a scenario where he's had 2 years
he's healthy.
of high production and health.
It would be tough to convince myself not to pay him.
It would be tough, but I probably would pay him under those circumstances. Maybe, you know, Matthew Stafford. What do we say about Stafford early in his career? Injury prone. Then he went years and years and years without injuries.
I never understood that, by the way.
Because he missed a few. He missed
the
games.
first 2 years.
Right.
That's it. He missed the first 2 years. The roster was awful. It actually elevated your ability to rebuild, even though you missed on a ton of picks, but it's beyond the point. The dude first year actually starting, which was year 3, they win 10 games. Like, I never understood he's injury prone. Like, get an offensive line if you don't like your quarterback being injured all the time. It's that simple. Like, whatever.
Well, they weren't thinking.
Oh, I know. They were never thinking. Prior to this regime, never thinking. I don't think any GM/head coach that's ever worked in Detroit ever had a moment, Terry, where they were thinking.
Amen, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I know. Unfortunate reality. We got a few minutes, so I want to cover Deebo Samuel. Should the Detroit Lions actually really consider pursuing him? Is this a real thing? Is this a player? And if I told you that this is a player that is going to be willing, even though he's come out and said, or the reports have said, that he's unwilling to take the body blows unless he's going to get paid handsomely. he's only going to play as a wide receiver. Let's say he plays both, and he gives you the dual threat. Are you still considering it? I'm not. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not Devontae Adams. He's not any of these perimeter players, and that's something the Detroit Lions need. And on top of that, I don't want to pay you Devontae Adams money when you're, giving me 1,100 yards in the air and 350 on the ground? Oh, you ran for 8 touchdowns. Look, I'm pretty self-aware. Last I checked, Kyle Shanahan is not coaching the Detroit Lions. And last I checked, he's one of the most brilliant offensive minds in football. And nobody runs the ball better than the Niners. And they can run it with Terry in the backfield. Let's be honest.
I get 1,200 yards.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. I mean, he wants to drop the slash label. That's why you want him, if you want to pay him this kind of money. When he's saying, nah, I just want to be a wide receiver, that's a strong no on my standpoint, from my standpoint. Another thing is, I know he's young or younger, but the NFL is a young man's league, and you should build through the draft. Deebo Samuel is a guy that I would sign for too much money if I thought I'm right there. If I'm Green Bay, it makes more sense because you have Aaron Rodgers. If you are a team that is a player two away, then yeah, I would sign. But the Lions, you can't lose sight of what is the prize. The prize is to build a team, first inside out. And you have all these wide receivers come out. Some of these dudes are going to be studs. So I would much rather hitch my wagon to a lower price guy who's young, who hasn't been injured yet, and is ready to go. So Deebo Samuel, very, very intriguing.
I would pass.
Hard pass for me.
Even if he wanted, again, to do this slash role, that hybrid role, I would still pass. Too much money involved. Brad Holmes has worked too hard to fix the salary cap issues that this team has had. I don't see them shelling out $20, $25 million a year for a guy that I could guarantee you would be less productive in Detroit than he was in San Francisco. Not because he's not a talented player, not because Ben Johnson or the coaching staff couldn't get him involved. You just don't have Kyle Shanahan here, unless I'm wrong, and this kid is the next Kyle Shanahan. I don't believe so. So, yeah, I think it's just a totally different offense.
But here's the danger with the NFL and free agency. I can guarantee 80% of the time you're paying big money to a guy for what he did for another team. He ain't doing it for you.
Yep.
And I've seen it way too many times, particularly here in Detroit, where like a guy like Damian Woody won a Super Bowl in New England, came here, got paid, got fat. There we go. There's a magical word again, fat. He got fat, and he wasn't productive here. But in the NFL is notorious for paying guys for what they did, but they're not going to do it for your team. There was another defensive tackle that people here in Detroit, the Washington Redskins, they were clamoring, please, please sign this guy. And the Lions didn't. He signed somewhere else. Got even fatter.
Oh, are you talking about Albert Hainsworth?
Yes, Albert Hainsworth. I was jumping up and down. Do not sign this guy. But people here, like, sign him, sign him, sign him. If the Lions don't sign him, it shows that they don't want to win. Now, if they did sign him, it showed they didn't want to win. It showed that they just care about a name, and they're just bringing in a name and not worth it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, top of the hour coming up. Dose of Dion at 9 o'clock. Very excited to have him on. But before we do, I have to tell you where I'll be going after the show, which is to Lady Jane's. God, I look like a grizzly bear today, Terry.
Oh, you got that Barney Fife thing going big time today.
What does that mean?
The little dipply-doo thing?
Oh, I don't. That's not intentional at all.
Okay.
Not intent. I'll be getting rid of it today.
It's supposed to be sexy, though.
I don't find it attractive at all. Look, I know I'm very difficult to look at every morning. Anyways, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, relax. watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in any time. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
We are only a day away. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m., Woodward Sports live for the entire first round. I am very excited. We'll be down at the Brass Rail. Join everybody, myself, Terry, Alex, Maddy, Fish, Neil Rule, Scott Bischoff, Russell Brown. The whole team will be down there. Join the Woodward Sports family. Starting at 7:30 p.m., we'll be live on YouTube covering the entire first round. The Lions, of course, selecting number 2 and number 32 overall. And tomorrow's draft show is brought to you by, of course, our good friends at Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness. 9:01 this morning, we are joined by a good friend of the show, Dion, also known as Dose of Dion. Follow him on, or excuse me, not follow, subscribe to him on YouTube. And if you haven't already, we can't be friends, so make sure you're doing it. But Dion, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning, guys. How are we doing, man? I'm excited. I can't believe we're already a day away from the draft. This has went so fast. I'm pumped, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look, let's just get into it. You spoke of the draft. We're all excited for it. You're obviously all dappered up in Lions gear. Walk me through your ideal scenario tomorrow. Picks 2 and 32. No trades. No trades, Dion. What are the 2 positions you want to walk away with where you're feeling good about this team going into this year?
Yeah, that's funny. I know last time we were on here, we were talking about the safety position. You were definitely not down with it. There was I think a couple weeks ago, I was going to text you. I forgot to text. I was going to text you because I was like, man, I really don't think the Lions are going Kyle Hamilton. I put out this video. I was like, I really don't think they're going that way. But my ideal scenario, if I'm walking away, I can't trade back. Well, my ideal scenario would be Aiden Hutchinson either falls to 2 because the Jacksonville Jaguars decide to pass on him. We get that run-stopping defensive end that we don't have that we really could use. If that doesn't happen, I'll even give you the second scenario. If that doesn't happen, I'm taking Jermaine Johnson with the 2 pick out of Florida State. And then I'd come back to pick number 32. And I think this is where things really open up. I know we've been hearing a lot of Lewis Cine chatter. I think you could go a lot of different ways with this one. I'm a little hesitant with taking a linebacker here, putting that 5th-year option on linebacker especially. I know Nakobe Dean may not make it much further than this, so if you want him, you better go get him. I just know one year the Rams did not work out very well. They had a linebacker, 1st-round pick 30. Alec Ogletree wasn't there very long. So there's that little concern, but I think Lewis Cine, if it's a safety like a Lewis Cine, I'm a big Jaquan Brisker, Nick Cross guy as well, though. Wide receiver, I think, is on the board, too. Like, if we're going to go receiver, Christian Watson, someone like that. And I've been on Christian Watson for a while, so I'd love to have him in the building, but I'd probably look at safety and linebacker next up, and Dean would be high on that list. And maybe a wild card cornerback could be thrown in there if there's like a really lockdown. But I think I'd wait a little bit longer for that.
Fair enough. Dion,
I'm just curious, why are you I don't want to use the word scared, but you're passing on Thibodeau at 2 if he's available.
Yeah, I could see the Lions taking him at 2. I think it's really coming down to those 3 guys. And for me with Kayvon, if the Lions do take Kayvon, I'm going to be more excited because the questions that I have about Kayvon from watching the games that I have, and it's not what he can't be. It's just a little bit of questions about how raw he is right now, where he's at in terms of as a pass rusher. But I know the upside is extremely high. We talk about, of course, the get off, the anticipation that he has off the line is incredible. And I think he has such a high upside with his length, with the ways that he can win as a pass rusher. It's just about knowing whether or not he's going to put that work in, off the field. And of course, he's going to become that. And he may become that. And if the Lions take that pick, it tells me that they believe he's going to do that. And I'm even more excited about it. For me, though, with Jermaine Johnson, he's grown on me. First thing with Jermaine is I think he's a much better run defender right now, hands down, and we could really use a run defending edge defender where Romeo's not great at it. And I know last season that's where we got to get better. We got to get better in a lot of areas, but we really got to stop the run first. And I know Jermaine's going to come in immediately, make us better against the run. Where Kayvon, the best way to play against Kayvon right now a lot of times is run towards him. That's not to say I don't think he can be better, but it is just something right now. And then I think what you saw with Jermaine throughout the season is the improvement as a pass rusher. You saw him do some good things, just like Kayvon. He was obviously outstanding again, but he improved as a pass rusher. Then you get to the Senior Bowl, you see him dominating 101s where the Lions are there. Then I get him at the Combine running with linebackers. His 10-yard split's a 1.55, and you're just like, dude, this guy's got all the athleticism there. So he's grown on me big time, but I'm not against taking Kayvon at 2.
Fair enough. Dion, I do have to say, I am glad you've moved off the Kyle Hamilton train. But you know what? Sauce Gardner is the new fad here in Detroit right now. A lot of national media at least giving it coverage that the Lions should consider Sauce Gardner at 2. Look, I have a complete different philosophy when it comes to secondary players. If I need to address the trenches on the defensive side of the ball, that is what I'll do always, always, always before I ever look to the secondary. What do you think of Sauce Gardner? I think everybody in the room at least believes he'll be a very good player. Is that what the Lions need? And do they have the luxury, Dion, of taking a corner, let alone a secondary player at number 2 overall this year?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I like the way you worded that because, we know we got holes in a lot of places. You're right, though. Sauce Gardner has been a name that started to come up a little bit, definitely recently as that guy that's been thrown in there. And now we're seeing Stingley's name start to rise a little bit. I think Stingley's very unlikely just because of the injuries. It's hard to take another cornerback that's played 10 games in 2 years. Even though his ceiling could be higher, you see him as a freshman with 6 picks, and you're like, dude, he's in the SEC doing that. But I think with Sauce Gardner, he's intriguing because first off his size for a guy that's that long, that tall. I think he's still a little clunky in some areas, so he still needs work to me. Obviously, competition's going to be thrown out there. He's had some good games against some good competition, though. But that's going to be thrown out there. He still needs a little work, but I think, when you're looking at that 2 pick, I think it should be something you consider, especially if you move back, depending on what edge is there. They move back and Hutchinson's gone, Kayvon's gone, or whoever their number 2 was. And I'm not mad at peaking at corner, but to me, it's probably got to be the edge spot because when I look at cornerback, and I don't know what you guys say, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but when I look at cornerback, I think, okay, I'm not really sure exactly what we have, what the potential of this room is, with, of course, of Kuda, coming back from an injury, Iffy last season who improved so much, Amani coming off a career year, Jerry Jacobs playing as a top corner in the National Football League, Mike Hughes really hasn't played in the league yet, so you take all that and then you look at edge and I'm like, okay, I feel like I have a better sense of what we have here, and the fact is it just hasn't been good enough. But Julian Okwara is taking steps, but that's an area where just based on Holmes' history in the past, I think you got to look there with the first pick. That's where I'd be looking. That's where I'd be the most excited.
See, here's my thought about corners. I'd like to have them. Yes, they're important, but the NFL is doing everything it can to take corners out of the game. To me, there's no such thing as a shutdown corner anymore. Used to be, but now the rules have changed and they're benefiting the wide receivers. That's why they're getting paid this much money. That's why you got 1 million wide receivers that's going to be taken in the first round. Now, if I had the 12th or 13th pick and I had a pretty decent team, I would consider a corner, but I would never consider a corner for a top 3 pick because they just, that position it's almost like the dinosaur. It's like, we're going to set up so these guys can't do what they could 20 or 15 years ago. So I would definitely pass on Sauce or Kyle Hamilton, anybody with the top 3 pick, particularly when I know that if you can rush an offense, you can make your secondary look better. And that's the way I would go if I were the Detroit Lions or anybody else in that position that needs help on defense.
Absolutely. I mean, I would just peek at the Rams, and you could see that, right? I mean, it's like, okay, they had their Jalen Ramsey, so maybe the Lions like, we should go get our Jalen or our Marshawn Lattimore that New Orleans had. But again, we don't really know what we have in the room, and maybe we have that in Okudah. Hopefully, I have no idea. But you're exactly right. I mean, you got to stop the run first to get him even into passing downs, and we're still struggling with that. But yeah, if you just look at the Rams, I mean, obviously Aaron Donald's an outlier, but it's just like, let's just build through the trenches. And our number 2 cornerback is this guy that's like 5'9", but that's because our defensive line is so darn good. We got 7th-round picks playing at safety, 6th-round picks playing at safety, and we already saw. I mean, that's our defensive coordinator's specialty. Our defensive coordinator, what he's good at, he understands is the back end. I think Aubrey Pleasant's one of the best at it. What they showed us last year, they don't need to go that high to get talent. They don't need to.
Absolutely. And you know what? This brings me to my next point, Dion, and I want to bring this up to you and get your feedback and your reaction to it, is the Lions should, and not only the Lions, Brad Holmes has every right in the world to miss on 3, 4, 5 picks this year, and I could care less. You know why? Because the Oakland Raiders, 2016, 2017, 2018 at the time, Oakland, by the way, missed on every single pick they had in those 3 draft classes. And in 2019, they pulled out Josh Jacobs, they pulled out Jonathan Abrams, Hunter Renfrow, and Max Crosby. It can be done. And what the Lions need to do, and last year obviously they brought in Penei Sewell, Lee McNeil had a ton of snaps. Levi played okay. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown was the breakout player, but they were good players that you can build around. And if Brad Holmes has another draft like that, great. If he misses on the number 2 overall pick, Dion, fine. It happens. Since the year 2000, 52% of the players taken at number 2 overall have hit. That means there's a 48% chance that tomorrow we are fucked. Does that make sense?
That's a tough way to put it, man.
It does, but you can't miss on 5 guys when you're 3-13-1. You can't miss on 5 guys when you're the Lions and haven't won a playoff game since 1991. He's got to buck the odds, or else not only will you have a bad team, but you're going to lose the confidence of this fan base. They'll be like, damn, he missed on 5 guys and he had all these high
draft picks.
If he
gets 2 starters every draft, I would be very, very okay with that. Dion?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know the exact percentages, but you're right. I mean, I feel like, most picks don't pan out. And when you're even looking at, like, obviously the Patriots stuff, they don't do well drafting. But even when you look at the best teams drafting, usually the percentages of guys that stick around or, our hits is, like, usually around 50% or lower. So you're like, yeah, it doesn't hit that often. And last year was a good draft. Yeah, you said Levi's the guy that's got to step up to me. Obviously Barnes, he's still learning the position, so that's going to be one. But we did get a lot out of last year's class, which was great. But I do think there is it is important that they do find success. I mean, it's always, again, it's tough, but they do find success in the draft because of just the way that, they're putting a lot to me in the draft we're plugging holes. We're doing things like that. We're giving guys shots in free agency. We're trying to open up the draft. That way we're not forcing positions, that we're just taking who our best player available is. But they've said it, we're going to build through the draft. So yeah, I don't think they need to hit on every pick. And if they do miss on 2, which would be terrible, I hope not, because I'm going to be pumped up whoever it is at 2 tonight, or tomorrow. But if they do miss at 2, I mean, yeah, I guess it happens. But yeah, I think they need some playmakers here. And defensively, definitely need some playmakers. Offensively, I think we're actually not in a terrible spot. But defensively, need some playmakers, and that backup offensive tackle would be nice too. We got to keep throwing it in there. Brad Holmes might be listening. I don't know.
Absolutely. Look, 2019, I'm just saying with the Raiders, they missed on Farrell at number 4 overall, Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Abrams in the first round still, and of course later on in that draft class, Hunter Renfrow and Max Crosby. It can be done. The good GMs find talent, and I think Brad Holmes is a good GM. I think he's very, very, very good at scouting and identifying talent. But I'm going to leave you with this, Dion. Last question. I haven't gotten your thoughts on the quarterback situation. And going into this season, I think it's very important that this football team is a 6-9 win football team. I think I'd rather this team be a 9-8 football team with Jared Goff and them picking roughly between 12 and 16, 17, and having draft capital. And if they needed to trade up to get a quarterback, damn it, they can do it. But I want to know your thoughts. 1, on Jared Goff. 2, are you considering a quarterback this year? And 3, do you believe the Lions can get a quarterback next year outside of the top 5, like I believe they can, considering just in the last 10 years, Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, players like this we're taking outside of the top 5 in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think you definitely can find a quarterback in those range, and I think a lot of it is what you come into. You know, the situation they're put into is very important. So I'm with you. When I look at Jared Goff, I think this is a very big year because it's not only just like, oh, he needs to prove it to be the Lions starter. It's like he needs to prove it for his career. I mean, if we're really looking at, when you look at his age, this is a big year for him, and I think he understands that. But at the same time, yeah, I'm riding with Jared Goff this season. I think, you know, Jared Goff is, we know he can win football games. We saw what he did through the second half of the season. And I think it's really beneficial to his side that we were able to get Ben Johnson back in the building, keep him around, keep kind of that continuity there. But I'd be riding with Jared Goff this season, trying to win as many games as I can this year. And we just evaluate Goff's performance. And if it's good and if he plays well, it's like, hey, look, we put the pieces there and it's great. If not, like you're saying, I'd rather take a quarterback, put him in a situation where it's like, hey, our defense is pretty good. We can run the ball pretty well. We're going to put you in here where, yeah, we may have some questions, but, you know, we do feel like we're not putting you in a terrible situation. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks when they're in that spot, they're able to come in and have much quicker success, or they're able to sit. Now, in this case, he may not be sitting if Jared Goff is no longer here. But I think this next year, you got to be looking at it like, bro, we should win some football games. You know, there's no reason we win 3 football games if we focus on building around Goff again. If we did that, that's a very big problem. So I think that's something to look at. But for this year's draft now, there's no quarterback that I'm taking. I'll say this, you know, you want the headlines? I don't know, but I don't think Malik Willis is a first-round quarterback. I don't have Malik Willis anywhere near that. But I think what you're betting on with Malik, of course, is the part that we don't really get a great look into, which is the character, all of those type of things that you're going to buy into.
This is why I
that
love
he
you,
can make
Dion.
it happen. On the field, he's not a first-round pick to me. I mean, I went. The last game I watched was North Texas. I'm just like, is someone really going to take this guy in round 1? I mean, that's the position you don't want to be in. Only quarterback that I like, and there's no way I'd take him anywhere near the first, and there's no way I'd take him in the first round. But is Carson Strong. So if I was forced to take a quarterback, I would take Carson Strong if it was like late round 3 or something. But I'd rather just build the team. That's my hope.
Fair enough.
If we take the quarterback at 2, I'll be a little disappointed. I'll just say that.
I'm with you, Dion. I'm with you. Thank you so much. Look, like Dion said, you can win if you build around Jared Goff. Do I think you can win multiple division titles, playoff games, Super Bowls? No, but that's not what is needed here right now. What is needed is Dan Campbell needs to show he can be a very good coach. And if you surround Jared Goff and Brad Holmes with the talent required, I think they can win you some football games. And then we can address the quarterback position down the line. The Titans just won 13 games with Ryan freaking Tannehill as their starting quarterback. So it can be done. Please don't at me. Dion, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I cannot wait to watch your reaction tomorrow night.
So excited, guys. Thank you for having me on, man. Last note, hey, we saw Stafford win. We've seen the Saints win. We've seen the Titans win. You can do it. They can do it.
100%.
Build around them.
100%. Thank you, Fish. Thank you. Well, we got to go, but before we do, Maddy, could you tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Cintron?
Yes, I can. The summer is here, and it's officially the summer of Cintron. Now Cintron is available at most Krogers, so make sure you go pick up some while you're shopping. They have a deal going on right now. 2 for just $4. That's a steal. Cintron is the new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
32 teams, 7 rounds, 224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking.
Draft day in Detroit. A time of hope. A a time of wonder, and a time for Detroit Lions fans to act like it's the friggin' Super Bowl. Join Woodward Sports and hundreds of other diehard Lions fans for our NFL draft party and live stream from the Brass Rail Detroit. All your favorite and not so favorite Woodward Sports people will be there. Adham, Terry, Neil, D-Mac, Braylon, Ryan, the heavyweights, NFL scout Scott Bischoff, Maz, Stick, Jeff Maddy, Joey, and more. Come join us at the Brass Rail Thursday, April 28th from 7 p.m. until pick number 32. See you downtown for Draft Day with Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Syntron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness.
Yesterday was Taco Tuesday. I'm officially deeming Wednesdays Wing Wednesdays. Yes. Go to WingSnap. They've got fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken, and they have the best traditional wings out there. Try out their signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Their wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce that you may choose. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online now at wingsnob.com. WingSnob, we just have better wings.
Oh, wings is football. How do you not?
All right, the tough questions need to be asked this morning.
Uh-oh.
The Red Wings lost 3-0 last night, obviously to a much, much, much better hockey team in the Toronto Maple Leafs. Terry, I'll let you answer this first. Is it time for the Detroit Red Wings to get rid of Jeff Blashill?
Yeah, one hitter, get out. I think the time he's had his time here. He's been here 7 years. It's not like he just got here. Jeff Blashill, I understand the Wings are in a rebuild, but here's the thing that scares me about where they're going as a franchise. You're hearing that there is dysfunction in the locker room. Now, you very, very rarely hear about disgruntled players in the NHL, or that there's a bunch of them. So it tells me that at least some of the older players are like, this ain't the guy. We need to go in a different direction. And I understand why Steve Yzerman didn't make the move before now, because I really believe this. Yzerman knew this team wasn't ready to win. And he didn't want to bring in his guy, and the Wings are still losing 7-2 or something like. I mean, they've lost to Pittsburgh. Could average like 8 goals a game if they played the Wings every day. What scares me is not the losses. It's the way the losses happen. 10-7, 11-2, 8-2, 7-2. These are not NHL scores. They're not competitive. And you're hearing guys in that locker room are not, they're not digging the vibe in there. And if they're not digging the vibe, that's because of the head coach. And you probably need to overhaul the whole thing. Get rid of Blashill and his assistants. And so Steve Yzerman has a tall task. He's going to have to come up with a new coaching staff because, his experience, his loyalty to Blashill it's got to dry up now. The dude is not performing. The team is not performing. And a lot of this has to do with head coaching. And guys in that locker room are not believing in him. That's the thing that scares me the most.
Look, I'll say this. You touched on it a little earlier with the fact that he didn't want to bring in, he as in Steve Yzerman, didn't want to bring in his guy because he knew the team wasn't ready. And I'm not sure if this team is ready to compete for a top seed. Hell, I could guarantee they're not ready for a top seed next year in their conference. What I could guarantee is with a full season of Jakob Vrana, year 2 of Sider and Raymond, Larkin, free agency additions, calling up some of the younger guys, addressing the goaltending position. I think this is a 42, 43 win team next year with the right coach in the building. So yeah, I think it's time to move on, and I think there's a big risk Steve Yzerman would be taking if he stuck with Blashill for next year. Even if you knew it was a dead year, how many more dead years do you really want to have? Like, there has to be something set for that. You have to address the Larkin situation eventually. If I'm Steve, I'm bringing in the guy, and if it is the guy, you'll win with him. I think, Terry, it's proven over every sport. you have the right manager, the head coach, your teams become much better. Now, baseball, a little different, but still, you saw even with A.J. Hinch last year.
Right. I didn't expect them to win that many games.
You have that coach, that guy, chalk up wins just because of his brilliance.
And dude, they don't have to be challenging for the number 1 seed.
Not at all. They can be a 6, 7, 8 seed. Hell, I don't care what they are. If they will probably have a slightly above average record next year with the right guy in the building. And I don't think anybody would be complaining. Nobody's dying for a top 5, top 3 draft pick this year. Nobody cares. The talent's there now. It's young, but it's there. It's time to start winning hockey games.
How about this? Be a 6 seed and
get swept. I don't care.
No. In the first round, whoever you're playing, who's going to be favored, you're giving them hell. And maybe it's 2-2 after 4 games, and maybe you don't win the series, but you show some life. You scared the bejabbers out of somebody, and you stimulated a fan base here that wants so badly for the old days to return here in Detroit. And it's not going to return next year, but you can be a lower seed playoff team with the right infrastructure, the right players, the right coach. And I think that's what the Wings should be gunning for next year.
There's only one player in the National Hockey League scoring at a higher rate per game than Jakub Vrana. And that's the 60-goal scorer out in Toronto, Austin Matthews. Put that into perspective, Detroit. You got talent. But we are going to take a quick 30-second break. When we get back, we are joined by MicroMike for more Lions draft talk. Very excited to talk to Mike, but again, stick around. 30 seconds. We'll be back.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening.
Sticker Genius is the official sticker partner of the Woodward Sports Network. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. Check them out at stickergenius.com. They wrap the entire Woodward Sports studio, so we can't thank them enough. Happy to have them on board. Again, that's stickergenius.com, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you. We are joined this morning by another good friend of the show. Love the guy, MicroMike. What up, man? How are you? Good morning.
Hey, I am living the freaking dream, folks. It is draft eve. Look, I got a hat on. It's not as good as Terry, though. He's got, man, I draft Terry's hat at, too.
Did you hear him? It's draft eve.
Did he say draft eve?
Yes, he
I'm
did.
disappointed in you, Mike.
Yes, he did.
I did not.
So you need to get with the program,
Yeah,
brother.
well, he also said that he would take your hat, Terry, with the number 2 overall pick.
Oh, what he?
Mike, what's up, man? I hope you're doing well. Look, again, we're under, 35 hours now away from the NFL draft. The Lions at 2. We just had Dion on. He's not considering a quarterback in the first round. Are you of the same mindset?
Right now, it's not looking like the Detroit Lions are taking a quarterback in the first round. I think when it comes to the second pick in the draft, it's going to be edge, whether it be Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that's going to be the selection. Jacksonville, they just need to make up their minds so we can see who's going to there. And with the 32nd pick, yeah, I think taking a linebacker or potentially a safety there, I think that would really help out the Lions' defense. We need help in the middle, and we need to stop the bleeding at the back end of this defense. I think that's the way it goes. And Dan Campbell puts a smile on his face because he's going to eat some more kneecaps in 2023.
All right, I dig it. Look, I brought this up earlier. I believe it's very important for Dan Campbell's sake and this football team that they put out not only a good product, but they win games. This is a win win-loss league. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how good-looking you are, how well-spoken you are. At the end of the day, are you winning football games? And I think it's very important that a 3-13-1 football team competes and wins 6 to 9 football games in year 2, because if you win 3-4 this year, you can't tell me people aren't going to be asking questions of Dan Campbell. So, with that, is this all defense in the upcoming draft, or are you looking for a wide receiver at the end of the first round?
Oh, I'm definitely looking at a wide receiver first. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft. They could take it at 32. They could take it at 34. Basically, it's almost back-to-back picks there. So if one falls, if somehow Treylon Burks falls to 32 and get past the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers, that could be a really good option for the Lions. And at 34, you can go Christian Watson, North Dakota State, prototypical wide receiver. We need to get that big guy on this team. Amon-Ra St. Brown was talking about how we need to get that guy. And I think if you do get a wide receiver, it really does open up the Lions' offense to a much better position. Again, longer sustained drives, more first downs. It rests the defense as well. That is vital. And if they want to see what Jared Goff can do, give him the weapons that he needs this year, a great year to evaluate him. You have your wide receiver. We did pretty good last year getting Josh Reynolds and Amon-Ra stepping up. Maybe get a tight end also in this draft, and we'll see what he can do with this team offensively.
Now, Mr. MicroMike, I want to ask you a critical question. I asked Adham this question, and when I did, his face curled up like he had gas or something. But if the number 2 pick, you're looking at the number 2 pick, and Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau are there, who are you picking?
Oh,
I'm making you the GM.
Oh, you're making me the GM? Oh, man.
That's
right. Oh, my God.
You can't pick
I
my
am
hat.
an Oregon Ducks fan. That is my college that I prefer. With that said, I like Aiden Hutchinson just a little bit more. Got 14 sacks. He seems like a Dan Campbell type of guy. I want to have a dude that's going to have a high-end motor throughout the game. I think Kayvon Thibodeau can be that guy for sure, but, man, I know for sure Aiden Hutchinson can do that. I know without a doubt that he's going to go after it 24/7 on the field, and that's what we need defensively. But in all honesty, you take either one of these guys, I'm going to be happy.
And fellas, why are we kind of saying that Thibodeau is not a Dan Campbell guy? First of all, what is a Dan Campbell guy, and how do we know that? What's he done or shown that he would not be a Dan Campbell guy?
Well, again, it's just the high-end motor. I watched a lot of Oregon games this year, and it felt like at some times he was taking the playoff a little bit. I think that's important to understand that Dan Campbell probably wants a guy that never takes plays off. You know, it could have been just him. Maybe he was a little bit hurt over there, Kayvon Thibodeau. But at the end of the day, there's no questions, I think, when it comes to his personality, Aiden Hutchinson, and there's just a tad bit of questions regarding Kayvon Thibodeau. When you're sitting at 2, you got to get a game record and a game changer. It's got to be a guy with the least amount of questions, I think, in a draft. We need to have a guy that you can guarantee is going to be playing on Sundays high end the whole time.
Well, I love that word, the guarantee aspect of it. I'll tell you this, Mike. Since 2000, of the 22 players selected at number 2 overall, 52% of them have quote-unquote hit. The other 48% have missed. So my theory, walking away from every draft always, is going to be, can I get 2 to 3 starters? And if I do, that is a very, very high-end successful draft. If I get 1, it's not ideal, but damn it, at least I got 1 player I can move forward with. But ideally, it's 2 or 3. And that's typically the goal for most NFL teams. So I'll say this. Does Brad Holmes get a pass? And I think he does. If he misses on number 2, but again, supplements it with a good second-round pick, a good fourth-round pick, and you walk away with 2 starters. Is it forgivable? I want to say it is. I've seen the Raiders miss on 3 straight draft classes from 2016 to 2018, and then they pull off Hunter Renfrow, Max Crosby, Jonathan Abrams, and Josh Jacobs, all in the same draft after missing on Ceylon Farrell, number 4 overall. I think it can be done.
Look, I think you can definitely give him some flexibility, no doubt about it. We literally had GMs that missed a lot. Martin Mayhew, Matt Millen, Bob Quinn. So I think Brad Holmes, if he was to make a miss, it's not that big of a deal. Like you're saying, if you do get some solid players in the rest of the draft, Amon-Ra St. Brown was a 4th-round pick, and he should have probably been a 1st-round pick. So there's players you can miss on and hit on. Now, if whoever they pick at 2 is an absolute bust, and it doesn't work out at all, I think you gotta wonder what is going on there. But other than that, I think if the player is a good player but not great player, I can give it a pass.
See, I disagree with you guys. I think under the circumstances with this team and with Brad Holmes, who we kind of believe in, do we really want to say after the second draft, we don't believe in this guy again? And yes, maybe he can clean it up later on, but he's got to hit the number 2 pick. He's got to hit at least two of the 3 picks from 32, 34, and 2 because of where the Lions are as a franchise. 1, we don't believe in them. B, they give us no reason to believe in them. But now I think the Lions have to prove not only that they can get good players, but they have to prove to their fan base that it's different now. And when you're telling us, or when we believe it's different, you got to hit higher than one starter out of a draft. You got to hit higher. I mean, idealistically, they should hit 2, 32, and 34 because of the position they're in, and also they have to make us believe that it's different now. Circumstances are just different from this team, so they got to hit on all of them.
Well, 100%, they do got to hit. I mean, we need to have players on this football team, but if they make a good player at number 2 and at 32 they get a guy that's near Hall of Fame status, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. If you look at Micah Parsons last year, he wasn't the number 2 pick. He went to Dallas Cowboys. He should have been. I mean, this guy was an amazing player. So it just depends on what you get in the draft. If we look at last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, a 4th-round pick. So if one of the picks before him does not work out, well, you did get Amon-Ra St. Brown, who did work out and was a fantastic player. But I'm with you, though. We got to get some starters in this draft. At least 3 starters and 2 contributors that makes an impact for this Lions team, because that's the only way we're going to win is build through the draft. You can't build through free agency. Right now, we don't have the ability to just make trades to get players in this football team. We got to build it the correct way through the draft. So we'll see. I do got high confidence in Brad Holmes that he's going to get the job done and make some good picks for the Lions.
This is probably an impossible question to answer now. It is impossible, but I'm going to answer it I ask it anyway.
All right.
When you look at the high-end players, the guys that are going to be available to you at 2, that you would actually take, who's going to be wearing a gold jacket at the end of their career? I think that's what you have to look at. Who's going to be wearing a gold jacket?
I put my money on Aiden Hutchinson.
Well, he's going to be in Canton. Then that's the guy you take. You don't play around.
100%. Yeah, look, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Again, let me just go back to the theory of missing on a player. I can accept the Lions missing on a quarterback at 2, an edge rusher at 2. Hell, given a certain year, an offensive lineman. But what is unforgivable is trying to be the smartest people in the room, drafting somebody for the first time at their position that high. I don't play those games. The NFL is very simple. All right? You need a quarterback. You need an elite quarterback if you want to have consistent success over a decade-long period. Now, can you win with average quarterbacks like a Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill? Yeah, you can, but it's very inconsistent unless you can compensate it with extremely high-level coaching and a super talented roster. The Lions have none of that right now. None of it is proven. They need to address the roster. We're not sure who Dan Campbell is as a head coach. And, Mike, I'll leave you with this. What does Dan Campbell need to do in year 2 to win your confidence moving forward as the head coach of the Detroit Lions?
We need to get 7 wins. 7 wins to me. We can't go into another year where you're getting 3 wins or 6 wins. There's not a whole lot of excuses this year because we had free agency. We had the ability to get a DJ Chark. We have a lot of draft picks in this year with the 2nd pick and the 32nd pick, 34th, those high-end picks. You have to take the talent that we have, plus all the injuries that we had last year are coming back. And you got to win football games. It's about wins, nothing else, nothing more. Hope can be there. You can have the hopium. You can drink all sorts of the Kool-Aid. But at the end of the day, I want to see this team progress from year 1 to year 2, and the results in wins. So if you start now, if you're doing the 3-win thing again, I'm starting to lose hope there.
Fair enough. Well, Mike, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Everybody in the chat, make sure you are subscribed to his channel, Lions Talk with MicroMike. Check him out. Dude, Ken, thank you again. I can't wait to hear your reaction and your thoughts tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun evening. We'll definitely catch up after the draft and get you back on. Take care, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate it, man. Let's get ready for the draft, folks. It's so cool. See what this team's doing. I'm so excited, man. It's the best time of the year because we're Lions fans.
It's a sad truth, man. It's a sad truth. Oh, man. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, what would make for the best Detroit sports documentary? I think I'm going to surprise Terry with my answer. But before we do, Maddy, could you tell everybody at home about what Big Boy has going on weekends?
Yes, I can. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving after talking about all this food. But now I'm just craving the signature buffet from Big Boy. It is back every weekend from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy. Treat yourself. Enjoy some favorite 2 kinds of eggs, bacon, sausage, garlic mushroom, grits, potatoes. They've got it all. Make sure you join them at Big Boy on weekends, every weekend from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
At Wing Snob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wing Snob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
We all know Cade should have been Rookie of the Year. But you know the saying, Detroit versus everybody.
Uh-oh, Cunningham all by himself!
Woodward Sports.
If you're looking for a new security system that keeps you safe and give you peace of mind, look no further than Guardian Alarm. Whether you're at home or on the road, their 24/7 local monitoring makes sure what's important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That's right, you heard Fish. 1-800-STAY-OUT right now and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Another lead. Sucks to be down.
Terry, you brought this up last night, and I'm actually very curious. What would make for the best Detroit sports documentary? Now, we've seen the 30 for 30 on the Bad Boy Pistons.
Right.
So I'm very curious.
I was a part of that. I don't know if you know that.
Yep, I do. You were. My question to you is, outside of the Bad Boy Pistons, unless that is your answer, I'm not sure.
No, because I want to do something more recent.
Okay, so I'm all ears right now because I'm very curious, and I don't think you're going to expect the answer I have.
Nothing would surprise me. But I want to, I think the ultimate documentary that no one has thought of would be on Detroit Lion fans. And I already know the name of the documentary. Why do we love them? Nationally we have praised Cubby fans, the poor things. We love the Cubby fans. We did that a little bit with the Red Sox fans because they hadn't won in a million years, so they won the World Series. But I am just curious about following Lion fans on game day and non-game days and just sitting people down. A franchise that hasn't won anything, but there is such passion for this franchise in this town. That's the documentary I want to see.
The documentary I want to see is from the season where the Lions were 11-5, first year under Jim Caldwell. They lose the playoff game, obviously to the Dallas Cowboys, the non-call, we all remember it. What I want a documentary on is the 4 years of Jim Caldwell. The 4 years of Jim Caldwell where
Surprised me at all.
I want fan interactions, I want a behind-the-scenes look, I want player perspectives like Joik Bell. I love the man. Man, he treated me good.
You have to find him first.
No, he's missing. MIA. Like, I want to know what was so appealing. And it's really frustrating. I wish I was talking sports all those years ago. I really do. Because I was that guy in the basement on Sundays yelling at the TV, and everyone else is like, we've never had a football team that won 9 games before. Why are you complaining, Adham? They're like, this dude sucks. I would love to see a documentary on Jim Caldwell, and really also post Jim Caldwell. Not only in the building, but for Jim Caldwell himself. Why he never got an opportunity to coach in the NFL again. What GM's perceptions of him were. How he managed games. We all know how bad he was in the 2-minute drill.
Well, we know the NFL is not going to hire black guys as a coach. That's against him right there.
So I'm really curious how the team reacted to starting the following season, 6-2 or 5-2? And then losing 7 of the last 9 games.
They've done that before, plenty of times.
Beautiful way to follow up an 11-5 year, and then go 9-7, and then 9-7 again with 8 of them being fourth quarter comeback wins, thanks to your quarterback and your kicker. Like I really want to know what those players were sitting there like. Terry, they're standing up there in the locker room. They're like, oh my God, here we go, baby. We're 9-7. Jim Caldwell, he treats me right.
Yeah.
He makes me feel good.
Yeah.
He makes me feel good that I'm mediocre, but I like it.
All right.
I like being mediocre.
I think you're being somewhat of an ass.
I'm not being an ass.
No, you are. Here's what you should do. Do a documentary on the 5 years before Jim Caldwell got there, and do a documentary on the 5 years after he left. That's what you should focus on.
You're absolutely right, because both tenures resulted in 0 playoff wins, 0 division titles, and they can suck my asshole.
The only thing Jim Caldwell gave you was some hope. Now,
no, he didn't give me hope. That's the problem. No. I'm not going to let you say that. I'll tell you why. Because if he actually gave me hope, I would have been riding and defending him so hard. The problem is he never showed growth. It was year 1. Everybody knew it was a disappointing roster, a disappointing season the year prior with Jim Schwartz, which is why he was fired. Everyone felt good about that roster going into 2014. That was a good team. 11-5. Damn. Loved Jim Caldwell that year. Feeling really good. Felt screwed by the Cowboys non-call. Absolutely. The next year, 5-2. Holy hell. We're on to something. This guy's very good. They collapse. The next year, 9-7. All right, well, our next year, we got to take the step forward. What do? The exact same thing, except they don't beat a single team over 500. And all of their comeback wins were against a team below 500. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was mediocre. I never saw, Terry, the future with Jim Caldwell. Not that he wasn't average, not that he wasn't okay, good. It was hope I never had in Jim Caldwell, because I never believed he could elevate the team to that next level. And that was always the issue.
Here's the problem with being a Lions coach. Can you elevate yourself to overcome the incompetence of the Lions front office? Jim Caldwell was not able to do that. No coach has been able to do that. He did better than every other coach that you've paraded in here since 2000.
Hell, this is even well past it outside of Fonts.
No, but Fonts was a guy that even players who played for him will now tell you that was probably not the right guy. Yes, he won more than anybody else, and he lost more than anybody else.
Can we say the same about Jim Caldwell? That was probably not the right guy, and if you had a different coach, you'd probably win more. And if you don't completely miss on the regime change after, who knows? But look, it's not my fault they went and hired Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. I didn't tell them to freaking fire.
I know that, but a guy like you bitches more about Jim Caldwell than what happened before and after him.
I bitch about Jim Caldwell because we have this fake revisionist history that he was some great coach that elevated such a poor franchise in football. That was a good football team the year he walked in, and they delivered 11-5, and then they failed to win the division earlier on in the year, but we don't need to talk about that. And then they lost to Green Bay in the final game of the year, and then they lost, unfortunately, to Dallas. We all remember how it worked out, even though he failed to go for it on 4th and 1 in Dallas territory, and they still had the ball after that call. But whatever, we're just going to ignore. We're going to choose to ignore everything. And then they follow up with a 5-2 start, 7-9 finish. Disaster. 9-7 average. 9-7 average. Fourth quarter comeback wins, 8 of them last year. I mean, again, Caldwell was good. Caldwell was good. It's not about Caldwell wasn't a good coach. It was he didn't give you hope or optimism that you would ever actually compete and win the division. Mitchell Trubisky and Matt Nagy won a goddamn division title. Come on, guys. That's my problem with Jim is when I don't see a future, a ceiling, Terry, when I can identify your ceiling immediately, which is, oh, he's a good coach. But good doesn't win you divisions. It doesn't win you playoff games.
It doesn't win you divisions with the Detroit Lions. You could probably do it somewhere else.
Fair.
Let's go to Matthew Stafford. How a lot of people trash this guy here. He can't win a playoff game. He's not a top 15 quarterback. He leaves this morbid franchise and wins a damn Super Bowl. So, and I'm going to bring up another. Steve, you know who else?
Yeah, but that's not, again, it's not reality.
Shut up.
No,
shut up. I got to educate you, dumbass.
You're not educating me. You're talking out of your ass.
No, shut up. I want to bring up another guy.
Go for it.
Steve Mariucci.
All right.
Steve Mariucci was a guy that people in that building considered a good coach. People outside the building considered a good coach. But the problem was, could Steve Mariucci overcome the incompetence of the Detroit Lions? The answer was no. Could he have done it somewhere else? The answer was yes. At least that's what people believed. I believe Jim Caldwell I will agree on this. He's a decent coach. He's a good coach. And I understand why players liked him because he treated them like men. All right.
Look, this is just the whole problem with this fan base and this entire culture of you guys accept mediocrity. Terry, what is the ultimate goal for every football team going into the year? Forget the playoffs. What is your goal? Take care of business over a 17-game schedule. What does that mean? Win your division, correct?
That is the
and if
goal
you do
for
that,
the regular season.
Does winning your division increase your chances of winning a playoff game?
Of course it does.
Why? Because you're hosting a playoff game.
You're hosting a playoff game, and you're the better team.
Yes, and you've proven over a 17-game now schedule that you were the best team in your division and one of the 4 best teams in your conference. That's what it means.
Unless you're Green Bay.
Poor Green Bay fans. Anyways, we're going to take a quick segue. We'll come back to mailbag. Get your questions lined up in the chat. But before we do, I got to tell you about MyBookie, where I made a crap ton of money last night. So sign up today. Use code Woodward. Bet from anywhere, anytime on the MyBookie application. Go to the web browser. Do what you got to do. I don't care what you have to do. Just sign up using code Woodward, and you'll thank me later. And when I make appearances on Woodward Bets, you can thank me for making you money like I did last night if you listened. And if you have a gambling problem, meaning you just suck at it, listen to me and call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2.
You guys have to be some of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. Jim Caldwell did not win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. They lost in the Super Bowl, by the way. Just FYI. Stop sitting there in the chat saying, oh, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. We had him in playoff 2 out of the 4 years. And guys, I'm not telling you he's not some horrible coach. He was good. He was the second best coach you ever had in your history. Your history sucks. That's not a good thing. But don't sit there and tell me that you were sitting there after the final 9-7 season saying, next year's the year. Not only are we going to win the division, Terry, we're going to compete in the playoffs. I don't want to hear that. You got stomped by Seattle in the third year. You didn't even make the playoffs your final year at 9-7. Like, Terry, again, my problem with Caldwell is I don't think he was one of the excellent coaches in football. And, again, he was good.
You're right, but my problem with you is you hold him to a standard that you don't hold other coaches.
How? Who? Give me one example. You're talking out of your
anybody else but Jim Caldwell.
Who? Give me one example.
You got to bring up Jim Caldwell about how mediocre, how bad he was. I don't hear you talking about anybody. I don't hear you talking about Marinelli. I don't hear you talking about
Marinelli was god-awful. Got fired deservingly so.
Yeah, when I bring it up, yeah, you'll say, but you never just...
Why would I waste my time on some of the worst coaches in football when I have Lions fans bitching?
Schwartz sucked as a coach, or anybody else. You always bring up Jim Caldwell.
Why though, Terry? Why? Ask yourself why. Yeah, because you're not thinking. You're not thinking this morning. You're not thinking clearly. Why it's brought up is because he's revered as one of the greatest Lions head coaches. Why did we fire him? I'm explaining why they did. And I'm explaining why he was just good, average at best. And that was never, ever, 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 ever going to get you where you want it to be. And at the end of the day, whether it's Dan Campbell...
How's it worked out since then?
Terry, that is not the point. We are talking about the 4-year window of Jim Caldwell.
How's it worked out since then?
They hired Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. That was a freaking disaster. Now they're in a current rebuild. And they're going into year 2 under Dan Campbell.
They're always rebuilding, brother.
Terry, I know this, but that doesn't give Jim Caldwell an excuse to be mediocre and say, you know what, I'll take mediocre over, just nothing. I'll accept going to the playoffs and never winning a playoff game because we're the only team since the year 2000 never to win a playoff game.
Yeah, we had a good time last year, 3-13-1. How was that?
I'm not saying that was good. See, this is the problem with you and people like Stick in the chat is you guys just want to keep bringing up, well, everything that's wrong. I am talking about the 4-year window under Jim Caldwell. If you cannot sit here with me and tell me that you were confident at the end of year 4, kick rocks. By the end of the 4th year under Jim Caldwell, you weren't sure what the hell you had. All you knew is we're kind of just sitting here. We have a franchise quarterback that we're under-delivering with, clearly because he leaves for 1 year, wins the goddamn Super Bowl. But, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, well, he lost in Dominican.
Let's talk about the 8 years he wasn't under Jim Caldwell. He was still considered a disaster. And was I confident after Jim Caldwell?
When Matthew Stafford, no. He wasn't considered a disaster. Again, he missed his first 2 years. His first full season starting, he took an average roster, if not the worst roster in the entire playoffs, to a 10-6 record. And they did lose, I believe, to the New Orleans Saints. And then again, Jim Schwartz wasn't all that great of a coach. You can't do everything by yourself as an individual. But as a head coach, you are responsible to elevate your team. Did Schwartz ever elevate his teams? No, he didn't. Did Caldwell? No, he didn't. Oh, he treated them nicely. Excuse me. We were 9-7 for 2 years. Wow. Like, guys, I don't know what to tell you this morning. You keep bringing up the past, the future, the after. Talk to me about the 4 years of Jim Caldwell. Were you confident he was going to eventually win you a division or a playoff game? Yes or no?
The answer is no.
Thank
you. Do you know why? Because of the freaking Detroit Lions.
He's the one that fucking, vouched and demanded Eric Ebron, by the way. I don't want to hear, well, he had to overcome some horrible front office. Martin Mayhew, as much crap as I want to give him, wasn't some awful GM. And at the time, you have to understand the salary cap worked differently.
No. He was an awful GM.
You had to, he was meh. But don't sit there and say he didn't draft talent. He drafted talent onto that football team. Those teams had talent. Now, was it consistent? No, it wasn't. Did he botch the salary cap? Yes, he did. He was not a good GM. But I don't want to hear that for years at a time. They did not have talent. They did. And
I'll tell you now, they did not have talent. This is the problem with Detroit. We always look at our teams and we think they're more talented than they are. The Lions were not talented. They had some talent on there, but not enough to sustain things, not enough to be a consistent winner. The main problem with the Lions
Should Schwartz have gotten fired? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we agree.
Yes.
Should Caldwell have gotten fired? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then what are we talking about, Terry?
You keep bringing him up.
You're acting as if you're on some complete opposite side of the spectrum when we're both agreeing about the coach.
Here's what I'll say about Caldwell. When you fired him, you ran the risk of losing that locker room because those guys were lockstep with him. He was a great coach from Monday through Saturday. And then he was all right the first half and maybe to the third quarter. His problem is the man wore 3 watches and couldn't tell time at the end of games. That was his problem. But
it's hard to do.
At that time, I was in the locker room a lot talking to those guys, and they pretty much said, if you fire this guy, it's going to be problems.
So my question to you is, if he sticks around for the 5th year, do they win more games than they did with Matt Patricia that first year?
Yes.
How many more? 1, 2?
They probably would have won 3 more.
So they're what are they, an 8-8 team?
Probably.
Okay, do you keep him again? Do you look at the locker room and say, well, they still like him?
No, with the way the Lions have conducted themselves over years, I probably would have kept him again. Because it was the same, you know what else? And maybe it was, you know who else? They did that with Wayne Fontes. Wayne Fontes was the same coach, basically.
Well, guys.
And was that a mistake or not?
It's been a real great day today. It's time to go.
Oh, damn.
Well, sorry.
We just talked that way right through the show. Bam.
Well, everybody have a good day.
Happy draft day, Eve. See y'all tomorrow.
More champions than you can enjoy.
Peace.